GM, and happy Halloween to all our viewers. Welcome to what's going to be another fantastic episode of DevNTell. So, if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast held every week, allowing founders, hackers, and anyone in between an opportunity to come on the show and showcase what they built. And today, I'm ecstatic to welcome Chris and Saul, who are the co-founders of Livy. So, if you didn't know, Livy makes it easy to verify where your data comes from. Deploy your code in one click and make your software verifiable, all through hardware-backed security. So if you stick around for today's episode, you'll get to meet Chris and Saul, learn about Livy, learn about data provenance, and a bunch more. All right, let's get into it. GM, welcome to the show, boys. Ecstatic to have you on.
Hey,
Hello.
hey,
Thank you for
GM,
having us
GM.
here.
Nice to be back.
Yeah, for sure. And happy Halloween. You guys got a killer date for your podcast appearance, and yeah, I'm happy you guys are spending your at least part of your Halloween with us here. But before we kind of get into all the great stuff you have planned for us, perhaps would you like to give a brief introduction about yourselves?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So you go. I'm protocol. Let's go. You can
No, you
begin.
go, you go.
Okay. Your name is okay. Never mind. So a bit of me. I'm Saul. One of the co-founders of Livy. I'm a software engineer. I've done product. I've done UI. I've done Web3. I've done a bit of everything. Right now, recently more focused into more the CK side of things, provenance, verifiability for compute. And the last adventure has been Livy so far. So that's a bit about my background. I'm super happy to be here and chat with you and being in the podcast. Thank you.
Amazing.
Well, sure.
Go
Well,
for
I'm
us.
Chris. I've been a developer DAO member for almost like 4 years, I think. So I really love open source software as a whole, and I'm a Rust developer. Like in my academic background, I'm a computer scientist, and I always keen to do open source development, more in the applied cryptography side. And now we are doing Livy. So yeah, it's really nice to be here.
Amazing, yeah, and welcome back to the show, Chris, and welcome to you for your first time, Saul. Ecstatic to have you guys on. And yeah, Chris, you mentioned it. Um, you guys been DD members for a while. Just curious, like how did you guys find yourselves in the DAO? And yeah, just curious to hear your experience there.
In the almighty BC5. So back in the day, we spent a lot of time in the BC5, of course. So it was just randomly, like daily, taking up in us, like just what we're doing in the day, like what's like sharing our screens or what we're coding. And it kind of like just added up. Like each day you pop up in the BC5, just getting to know people, share what you're doing, getting feedback and getting ideas and or whatnot. That's how we met. And actually, we met in real life in an Ethereum event. So I think it was Ethereum Brussels. It was the first time
Mostly Brussels. Yeah.
that we met in person after like chatting the BC Files for almost like more than a
Two
year.
years.
So it's
No,
really
2 years.
2 years,
Not 2 years. I think it
2 years.
was because we met like in 2021. That's when I think late 2021 is when I joined the DAO. And we met pretty much like first day, something like that. If not like a month later or something like that. So we've been talking for like 2 years online, and then after being well, he was coming to Europe. I was going to the hackathon mainly, and we met having breakfast in Brussels. We wanted to get pancakes, and there were no pancakes in that place. Don't you remember?
Yeah, I remember. You just unlocked me a memory. But yeah, it was also a great fit because there's not that much Spanish speakers in the DAO. So I mean we both speak
Yeah,
Spanish, so it was like yeah, kind of a great fit.
that's cool.
That is cool. That's awesome. And yeah, I joined also around late 2021, and yeah, BC5 was the it spot. And so for those of you who don't know, VC5 stands for Voice Channel 5. It is a voice channel in the DD Discord, and it has basically come up as one of the more legendary, to put it lightly, um, activities to join that voice channel and just shoot the shit, so to speak, with just a bunch of developers building cool stuff. And it's actually Vibes. The Vibes call is kind of making a comeback. So for those of you watching, listening today, be on the lookout for that. But coming back to Livy, yeah. Why don't we just get into it? What is Livy? What is your elevator pitch for
Yeah.
Livy?
Livy is the verifiable platform for having any application developed and make it verifiable. So we take any software and we can make it verifiable by running that inside trusted execution environments. So think of it as a new cloud provider that allows you that enables developers who very simply take their existing software and make it verifiable, having a guarantee where the information is used, what is getting executed, and what is the output for every application or for every execution that they make.
Well said. Well said. And yeah, I guess was there a particular moment in your day-to-day dev lives before you started Livy where you're like, oh, damn, this is like a real problem? Like, was there something that kind of happened to you, or something that you
Yep.
saw that inspired you to kind of start Livy?
This year in February, I was working on this verifiable image editor during a hackathon. So the idea of this hackathon was, okay, we have images, we want to edit these images, but once we edit these images, let's say with Photoshop, we lost where it came from, or we didn't have any way to prove that this was from this other image. So with CK and using SP1, I hacked this idea on verifiable media. And then during the hackathon, I figured, okay, this doesn't work for videos. It takes too long with images. And there has to be a better way and a simpler way to have the performance, the developer experience, and overall a nicer platform or something that allows me or allows anybody to take their applications and make that verifiable. And in this case, with a lot of focus in data provenance as well. So that's how everything began. And then we started from that point on, and here we are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Something
Chris.
to add. Something to add is that I really think like the problem that we are solving is like you get this sentiment if you're like going to hackathons as a whole or whatnot, and there's like people doing certain kind of stuff that will rely on hardware. Let's say, yeah, I want to use some kind of face recognition in order to that I can sign transactions or whatnot. So it always comes like that we have a bottleneck that is how we can solve this part, like how we can connect blockchain as a whole to the external world in a secure way. So then you have another options. Of course, you have like CK, you can do some things with FHE or other technologies. We are not biased into what we do. We see that there is enabled technology of that, but the performance cost is really, really high. So there's where Libby have a point there. Is how we can solve this in an efficient way. That's what we're trying to solve.
Amazing. And I know you guys have a bit of a demo planned, or plan to show. But before we get into that, just for the audience members that might not be familiar with what data provenance means, could you guys kind of just do a brief explainer on what it is and why it's important for people to really take into consideration?
Sure. So the idea of data provenance in very simple terms is to know where something came from. When you're doing, for example, a photo, you are taking, you're recording that instant with your sensor, with the camera, or with the device you're using. But there is no cryptographic way to prove that this image it's actually real or not, because we don't have a signature for this image. So that's sort of getting the information from the real sensor to sign where this information came from. If we're talking just on the digital matter, it's very simple because you can track a binary, what is actually executed. And as long as you have some sort of verifiable compute, for example, with blockchains are great for this use case. You have a state, and every time you transit or you update this state, you're going to have a state transition. This is in a blockchain recorded, and then you have the whole provenance of that state. But if you are having normal compute, if you're having hardware, if you're trying to interact with real things, it's very, very complex to have full data provenance. And having verifiable compute is one way we can solve this.
Yeah, that's great explainer. And there's this whole rabbit hole for being able to verify AI output, AI inference that we can get into towards the end. I think it's an very interesting topic on its own. But in the interest of time, the floor is yours if you want to share your screen and give us a walkthrough of
Sure.
what you've been talking about. Yeah.
So for this demo that we have, we're gonna just have simple provenance for a URL. We're gonna create an application that we already have developed. Let me show you the screen how simple it is. So this is the console. Anybody can register here by going to console.livylabs.xyz/register. Also, in our docs, we have the guide on how to register, which is going to bring you once you log in into this platform. To create an application, you can just have any Rust program at the moment in the platform. In this case, already have one repository connected, which is this one. You can have any branches, and then once you explore the files, this is going to compile any Rust application the same fashion that you would have, let's say, in a terminal CLI. You get to execute this application the same way. So this would be it. That's all the steps you need to have. You need to create an application. Just to avoid having to wait for the compilation, which is going to take a while, we can go to this example, this one down here, which is already compiled. Here we see that the program has compiled and we have an execution down here. So Livy and essentially has taken this application that we have here, and then we are able to execute this automatically. We can fetch the parameters for the URL, for example, and if we want to fetch information from, let's say, Google, we're going to be able to run that simple. So in this case, we're making sure that this has been executed. This is the information. Well, this is the attestation on everything that is getting executed. And here we have, in this case, it's just the HTTP website, HTML website from Google. But this information now that we have the attestation, we can verify this attestation and have not only the guarantee that this is actually executed from Google, but also now we can verify here and have the report data, which includes the input, which is going to be this URL, the program, which is the hash or the identifier of the binary, the output, the timestamp, and in this case, it's the user as well. And this is going to generate this hash down here that then we can compare, and this hash down here that we can compare and then have the full provenance data of an off-chain or of an off-chain compute, which in this case, it's verifiable compute. Just to have a nicer UI, we also have this example here where you can try this out. You can paste any API or any URL. Let's try Google for the same example. And it's going to return this information. This is the service ID that we have called, which is the fetcher. Here we have the HTML content, and then we can do the same process verifying the attestation.
Awesome. Yeah, so you kind of ran through a couple of things there that I want to double click into. So the first one, right as you were deploying, so are you guys pushing the that deployment to I guess where are you guys pushing that deployment to? Is it like an AWS box? Is it deployed on decentralized storage? Like how does that work?
Yeah, we execute the compilation inside a trusted execution environment, and that binary gets stored in the hard drive of the machine itself. This is run in a cloud provider, so we don't have access to the devices, which is a key point for the trusted execution security. Nobody can access the devices. And then every time somebody executes the program, this binary identifier, which we use as the service ID, gets called, gets executed with the input of the user, and returns the output for that given binary.
Awesome. And this is programming language agnostic, right? Like any program written in any language should be able to be deployed this way?
On this demo, we only support Rust.
Okay.
But we are working on the infrastructure, and we have like the product completely not only for stateless executions, which is the demo that we have, but for having entire services with any programming language, WebSockets, and anything you could imagine.
Yeah,
That's
something that we
awesome.
achieved, something that we achieved internally, just for giving you like an example, is that we port into the TFFmpeg, because like most people use it. So yeah, that's how we prove it. Like yeah, we are language agnostic at the end.
Amazing. So yeah, it kind of gives off the vibe of like a Vercel, but for like trusted execution environment deployments. Yeah.
That's a
We
really
get
good
that
point.
a lot. We get that a lot, and I
Yeah.
think one of the main goal is to provide the DevX for developers. I think that's one of our mantras. It's like really minimize how we execute this, and then just like one click deployment or it's still live.
Amazing. And the attestations themselves, like, are these stored somewhere, like on a blockchain, or again like a decentralized storage, or is it just like something local that the end user can only see, the person who deployed the service?
No,
Every
it's really
time,
important.
oh, go on, Chris.
It's really important that yeah, every time that we get attestation, of course the user will get it. But then on top of that, I mean, because we're just talking about the runtime, so what we are building on top of it is what we call provenance layer. So with the provenance layer, what it makes sense is like for you to have data provenance, then you need to have a connection between which attestation came from each service ID and what it did between the input and the output, and then you do that. The chain like okay, this comes from this. So there's how it comes. So it will be stored in a decentralized way, of course, at the station and whatnot. The good question is if we're going to be an L2, and that's us to discuss. We're doing research. So yeah, maybe we will do it. So yeah, we'll see.
Sweet. Maybe a bit of alpha, early alpha there. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, for Halloween, spooky
Yeah,
season.
man. Yeah, spooky
Spooky
season. There
season,
you
good.
go. Spooky season, launch an L2. uh, awesome. Yeah, and just curious. Sorry if you mentioned it already, but how long have you guys been in prod for? Like, is it like a year, 6 months, even earlier than that?
We started back in May. We were thinking all March into how to make everything. April was a bit like, okay, we are closer, but we haven't fully started implementing anything. And once it came May, that's when we started working on everything. So far, we haven't launched a product that's production ready. Everything that we have is on beta, and we are trying to get initial adoption. We have a couple of partners that we're working internally with them. B-Layer is actually public, where we're working with them already to integrate the TLS notary inside TEEs. But so far we're trying to prototype everything and haven't fully launched anything on production ready, let's say, yet.
And this is a perfect segue. I was going to ask how people can get involved. So you mentioned it's in beta. What's the process like for people to register and start deploying their services?
100%. We do have a documentation where we cover an example on a price feed. The idea with Livy is that like the demo that we have deployed, you can get any console or CLI service that you already have developed working into Livy, into the demo, into the working demo that we have. And that way you're going to make that, let's say, traditional service that you don't know how is like getting executed or anything, and make it verifiable with TEs. So in that sense, we managed to take any software and anybody can essentially reach out to console.livylabs.xyz, register, and be able to have their service deployed.
Awesome. You already got some influx here. Billy, just you
Hey,
wants,
Hey, Billy.
wants to
hey,
connect. So yeah, definitely you boys should get in touch. For people who don't know, Billy just joined Katana. So another DD win there.
of
Um,
course.
but I guess coming back to my the earlier thing I mentioned about maybe potentially using this for verifying AI output. So we know a lot of DeepIn networks use the distributed model for kind of providing hardware for end users to be able to run their inference jobs or maybe machine learning training. Have you guys thought about how Livy could potentially be used to solve one of the biggest problems I think in that space is just being able to verify that an end participant of that network actually did the work that they said they were going to do?
Chris?
Yeah, of course, Livy enables that because besides, well, trusted execution environments can be run in CPU and GPU. It's very important that if we run this in GPU, because we get, the GPU acceleration started for doing this. Talking about verifying, I think it's kind of a huge work, so it depends. Because if the model is non-deterministic, maybe, verifying like with multiple, if we call it nodes or servers, gonna be tricky. But if your model is deterministic, then of course that makes sense. Actually, yeah, we're doing research on that. We are doing research with a partner and they have a ML that is, is deterministic. And then you can verify that how that happens. But then you need for it to be deterministic. So non-deterministic can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, exactly. It is very, very tricky. But yeah, it would be really cool if you guys are able to sell that. That's like multiple billion-dollar business in itself.
Sure. And also, a good use case is Tyrion just launched an EIP that is in review. It's the 8004. So that they're talking about AI agents having like kind of reputation. So I think that converts on what you said, because then you can use TEs. It's in the EIP. Everyone can check it. So if you have a trusted execution environment that have some reputation on chain, then of course it makes a lot of sense that you're gonna trust it, because then a lot of people is voting for that. So a great use case, if you combine that with the X-Force O2, it's like you have multiple agents that can reverse itself between each iterations. So then you have like a more complex systems, and maybe you can do like crazy stuff with that.
Oh yeah, definitely you can. And just wanted to bring up Kemp. Kemp is asking when you guys storing stuff on Arweave.
Yeah, right.
Good old
Why
Kemp.
not use Arweave?
Yeah. There you go. Kemp. There you go. Awesome. And yeah, I guess for the developers that are watching today, is Livy open source? Can people contribute to the project, or if they do want to contribute to the project, is there opportunities available for them to do that?
At the moment, we have kept everything closed source. We plan to have one of the key points, which is the orchestrator that allows to make the provenance accessible. That should be public, so the entire system is verifiable. So you don't even need to trust us; just you trust Intel. But yet we don't have the final version. But we plan eventually to have this last piece also open source, so anybody can contribute to it and make sure that what we are executing is what we are telling. So that way we remove an extra trust assumption as well.
Awesome. And in terms of people that you're looking to start beta testing, are there particular types of applications that you're looking for versus others, or just like anyone who has general interest, reach out?
We are mainly working into 3 branches. One is data as a whole. Let's say we need to prove that this data was come from here at a given time stamp. We can use that. The other one is infrastructure. And both ways can be working with us. So if you need, for example, data for DeFi, data for prediction markets, data for an indexer, or any sort of feed, both directions, you can like get it from an API if it's in a blockchain, or write in a blockchain if it's from in the internet. We can help you doing that. And then if you just want to remove trust assumptions or on your system and just execute something inside a TEE, we can help you with that as well.
Amazing. Yeah,
I
Chris.
think A good example, yeah, we're talking about reducing trust assumptions. We've seen a lot of push to use Livy, let's say for multi-party computation. So if we talk about TLS notary, there's in TLS notary there is like an assumption. I'm gonna briefly recap what TLS notary do. So you are securing TLS sessions, but you have a notary that is the witness of it. So the witness will say, okay, I assure that this was correct. So the trust assumption in this model is that you need to trust the key that has the notary in order to, that is the witness of the TLS session. So with TS, since you can spin up a notary server, let's say for scratch, and then you have that attestation that has, okay, this kernel is being used, this configuration, whatnot, then you reduce the trust assumption of your notary server. So then it, of course, it is like more secure to do that in this way.
Interesting. Yeah. That. Well, yeah, you guys are certainly doing some really, really fascinating work. And yeah, I'm really keen to see Livy continue to evolve here. I guess. Can you guys share anything about your roadmap in 2026? What people can expect?
Yes. So far, the key point that we are trying to have ready by the end of the year is going to have the core infrastructure ready, so we can support in a very, very simple way any service that auto scales, that has different regions of availability, so you don't depend, let's say, on AWS one East one who dropped for like 2 days a couple days ago. So you have different regions to have your software distributed as well. Also, we are working on having GPUs very soon as well. We plan to have by the end of the year, early next, Q1 2026 as well, in order to provide not only support for software, but also like for AI machine learning workflows, which is going to enable agentic solutions as well running on top of Livy. And then once we have this sorted, the next step is going to make the platform available for anybody with the best developer experience, which is one of the goals that we have as a company. But obviously, this can scale at the very beginning. We need to have the foundation that can scale later.
Yeah, man, that's really exciting. Let's go. Awesome. And yeah, just as we're about to conclude, want to get you guys's. I want to see you guys going to be at Dev Connect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We plan to be.
Yeah, I'm currently
Excellent.
in
Excellent.
Argentina, so of course, it's always nice hanging with DD people and meeting in real life people that you talk online. Of course.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, for people who are listening today, or maybe you're a DD member, or maybe you're someone who's looking to become a DD member and going to Dev Connect, we do have a IRL hangout called Devon Vibes. I wonder who came up with that name. But we are hosting a get together in conjunction with Mimic Protocol. So definitely spots are limited, so you'll definitely want to go and get your name on the guest list. You can find that at the Developer DAO events page on Luma. And yeah, I mean, Chris and Saul met in real life and started a company together down the line. So you never know what happens when you go to these conferences. But yeah, I guess any final thoughts you guys want to leave with the crowd before we conclude?
Chris, you go.
No, I don't have anything in mind. I'm saying like if you're interested in trusted execution environments or you have like this crazy idea that you want to share, of course, just DM me. That's Protocol Whisper in 02, and I will more than welcome to solve.
Amazing. And yeah, Saul and Chris's contact information should be in the description of this podcast. So definitely, if you're keen on starting with Livy, definitely reach out. And with that, I just want to wish everybody a happy Friday, happy weekend, wherever you may be. Chris and Saul, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be with us here today.
Thank
Thanks
you
to you,
for
Nard.
having us.
Yeah,
Happy
my pleasure.
Halloween.
Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween.
Exactly. Happy Halloween. And yeah, ecstatic you guys decided to spend a bit of your Halloween on the show here today. But yeah, hope everybody has a fantastic Halloween, and we will catch you all back here. Actually, in a little bit, in about 15 minutes worth, where we are going to announce the winners of our Dev Connect giveaway. So definitely don't leave your screens. Maybe go for a coffee break or something. But yeah, you'll definitely want to stay tuned for this. All right, all. Have a good one.
Have a good day.
Cheers.